see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Well, hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Movie News. I missed my cue there, John. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel and, of course, our Twitch stream. And as you can gather, John C. Walsh is here as well. I'm Stephen John McLaughlin, and it's a Wednesday night. And I've got to say, John, it's absolutely melting in this studio at the moment. I don't know if it's the studio lights. I don't know if it's because Harley's here.
I think it's both, Stephen. I think it's the lights. There's too many lights for a room of this size, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Way too many lights to the tune of about 3.
Yeah.
And then you add in a 6.5 stone Labrador, his mass, the heat he's radiating.
John, I'm complaining about the heat just now, but I've heard here in Glasgow we're getting snow next week.
Fucking hell.
Just in time for Easter. Happy Easter, folks.
Spring. It's spring.
We'll not be rolling eggs down the hill, we'll be rolling snowballs down the hill.
I need to move.
Yeah.
I have to move.
Yeah.
I need to move to a warmer country. I can't do the rain. I can't do the snow. I can't do the wind, the shite weather. A moment longer.
I hear India's nice, John.
I'd love to go to India.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, we're going to move on anyway, very swiftly. As you can gather from our thumbnail and our headline, we're talking about Christopher Nolan's Tenet, and it is making a big box office comeback. I know you're going to be happy about this, John, because you've been championing this film for over a year now, and it does say here in cinema blend, despite disappointing original release. I didn't think it was disappointing. Maybe box office wise it was, but
even box office, Steve, it was a pandemic. Made $350 million. Come on.
In an announcement made by IMAX, Tenet has officially extended its large format run in those still limited metropolitan markets, with new showing added up until March 30th. That thanks to more than 30 sold out shows. In those recently opened markets, the would-be blockbuster is the would-be blockbuster. Wow, I can see where they're going.
Who wrote this article?
I don't know.
Mike Reyes. I'm going to be searching you up, Mike Reyes.
The would-be blockbuster is playing quite well monthly after its original theatrical release ended, considering Tenet is widely available on home video, rental platforms, and even Game Boy Advance cartridges. Didn't know that. At this very moment, it is even more of an indication that fans are flocking to the theatre experience where available, just as Christopher Nolan had hoped. Part of the novelty is heading to see Tenet in the IMAX is, of course, the fact that both New York and Los Angeles are showing the film in exclusive 70mm format, format showing.
Stuart Armstrong.
Some sort of. Movie fans that love the feel of the warm and crisp celluloid picture that Nolan films deliver as such a format are obviously indulging in that option, but even though those who are merely able to see the film in digital IMAX are still in for a treat thanks to Christopher Nolan's formatting his time-inverted venture for that very theatrical option. It's Christopher Nolan, and that's what he does.
Yes,
he loves his IMAX. He loves using those cameras, and it always looks stunning when you go and see a Christopher Nolan film in IMAX, John. Now, you predicted it. You did say that at the start of the show. What's your feelings on this? I think it's good to see, and I hope we get it.
Well, Steve, I'd love to get it again. I'd love to get it in IMAX. We didn't have the option of IMAX.
No, just grateful for a theatre.
Yeah, finally get into a theatre after 6 months or something.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic experience, shall we say, a transportive experience in the midst of a pandemic, to watch the excellence of a Nolan film, the directing, the story, which I loved. I thought the story was great. The cinematography was mind-bending, mind-blowing, and Ludwig Göransson's score should have been nominated for an Oscar. It was stupendous, one of the best scores of the year. I'm going to step back from my comments about Soul, because Soul, by all accounts, is a very, very good movie. I'm going to have to watch Soul. So I'm going to step back. I'm going to distance myself from the comments about Soul's score. I will watch Soul, but I still maintain Ludwig Göransson's score is one of the best of the year. And that was just all combined to make an amazing movie, Steve. And I thoroughly enjoyed watching it twice in a couple of days in the theatres. I was disappointed by the criticisms that were coming from certain fan bases, certain individuals on social media, actual critics, movie fans alike, just seemed to be gunning for Chris Nolan because he was wanting to come out and get this movie in theatres, save the ailing theatre industry, be a sort of beacon of hope for film. People were going after him and saying he was selfish, he was trying to kill people by forcing them out of theatres. I thought, what a load of shite. If they want to go and watch it, that's a personal choice. They can watch it with a mask like we did and they'll be absolutely fine. It's no different to going into a supermarket and buying food. So I was disappointed by the comments. I was disappointed by the attacks on him when it kind of fell short of the 400-500 million it needed to make a profit. It still made $350 million at the box office, Stephen, in its initial stint. A pandemic, that is uncharted waters, unprecedented times. This movie made a huge amount of money. No other movie that's come out in the western side of things has got anywhere near that money in the theatres. None have got near it, and none of the digital release movies, the likes of Trolls World Tour and Wonder Woman and Mulan, they've got nowhere near $300 million plus. So I'm glad it's getting an extra run. New York and LA deserve it.
Do you think after Tenet has its run that these other films will fall? No, I don't mean Trolls. I don't think that's going to see the light of day once again. I mean, like Wonder Woman. We still haven't had an official release here, have we?
I think we will see Wonder Woman in a theatre. I think it's inevitable. We have to. It's a big DC release. It was made for the theatres. They sort of had to get it out because they've obviously got plans to make the likes of Shazam, Black Adam, all of these future movies, Flashpoints, so they had to get it out, and they're not like Disney, completely obsessed with getting it in theatres. A movie that has no real...
Yeah, John, I saw you were talking about Black Widow last night, and that's a unique situation though, because that film is holding up other Marvel films.
We'll get into that, I'm sure.
They really do have to make that decision, and it's not like it's a standalone film. It is positioned in a story, and it's not like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision switching around. It doesn't really have that much of an impact. I doubt Black Widow's going to have much of an impact, but as part of that phase,
but it's holding up Shang-Chi and things like that. We're having to move those more relevant movies out the way to make way for Black Widow. I wish they'd just get it out.
Relevant, I like that.
Look, man, I says it last night. I want to see that movie in the theatres as well. I've seen the trailer in the theatre, and it's designed for a theatrical experience. But I just wish they'd commit one way or the other and not do this half-arsed dual strategy, releasing it on Disney Plus with a premium price point and in the theatres. No one's going to pay £30 to watch this on Disney Plus when they can go to a theatre for half the price and watch it there. I'm going to watch that movie in the theatres all day long. It's a strange decision. I don't know why they've delayed it, because the theatres will be opening up next month. I don't know why they've delayed it so far back, and it's impacted all the other movies. That aside though, I'm glad that no one's getting this movie out in LA and New York, and it's doing very well. 30 plus shows sold out in IMAX. It deserves to be seen by those two markets. They're the two biggest markets in North America. They would have made or broke that movie's success in box office terms. I've had a drink tonight. It's going to get worse. I assure you, as things go on. It was a strong drink. It was an IPA, 7+%. It's going to get worse as the show goes on, but we'll crack on with it. I like a drink. I have a slight alky in me. Got a history of alcoholism in our family, so and I'm Scottish, so you must.
I'm Scottish.
You must forgive me.
As soon as you say I'm Scottish, that explains it all.
It's a Wednesday evening, Stephen stroke night, and I'm having a drink after work.
Why not, John?
I think it's when
we're going to have snow next week. That must have upset you. But John, we're going to move on to our next topic, and it's all about Shang-Chi, and the movie delayed 3 months to September.
Yes.
Well, that was kind of obvious after the news about Black Widow. But John, Marvel has pushed back Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings amidst a slew of several other delays at Disney, including Black Widow. Black Widow, the Black Widow. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was first announced at 2019 San Diego Comic-Con when Kevin Feige began laying out what the MCU's Phase 4 would look like.
Remember that, Stephen?
Yeah,
so like yesterday.
Yeah, it's when Feige had hair. The film was initially set for a February 12, 2021 release date, the first day of the Chinese New Year.
When I had hair, Stephen. What happened to my hair?
Shang-Chi was
subsequently... I have to blame the pandemic, but it wasn't.
Shang-Chi was subsequently pushed back to May 7th before Black Widow took that spot, landing on the July 9th release date that many thought would finally come to pass. Now Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings has now been delayed for a third time. Shang-Chi will debut in theatres on September 3rd. Black Widow, which was set for May 7th, will now debut on Shang-Chi's previous release date. John, I know it's kind of just stating the obvious here. We'll have to wait to September now for a film that they've been looking forward to for a good 2 years now, sadly. But I'm pretty sure, in between now and September, we're going to get a lot of great films anyway. Yes. But this is the one. This and the Eternals is the two that we're looking forward to the most. The recent ones anyway. Obviously, the Doctor Strange film as well. But what's your take on this?
Stephen, I'm very disappointed for Simu Liu. I'm pretty sure it is Simu Liu who is obviously leading this movie. He's Shang-Chi. disappointed for that guy, because of course he did famously say a couple of months back he was excited to be a summer blockbuster leading man. He was looking forward to being a hero of the summer sort of release period. Well, it's been taken away from him. Now he's going to September. I'm trying to remember if September's had any big releases in recent years, and I can't think of many. I think that's usually where the third MCU movie slides out. Your likes of your Ant-Man or something like that.
Spider-Man.
After you've had a Spider-Man, after you've had a big movie like Endgame, or even Captain Marvel, if that was a big movie, come out earlier in the year. So it's a strange time. It's going to be very interesting, Stephen. I noticed yesterday Eternals wasn't announced as being delayed, so I wonder if that's sticking its current release. I don't know when its release date is. I may have to search that up, but they've of course got 3 movies to come out this year. 4 movies.
Eternals is coming out in November, John.
November?
5th of November.
So, Stephen, it's good in a way, because if this pandemic does subside and we can get into theatres, you're going to have 3 huge MCU movies coming out in the space of 3 months. September, October, November, December, I think.
Black Widow's in July as well.
So you 4 months, 5 months, you're going to have 4 huge Marvel movies coming out. But it's interesting to see if they will push any of them into next year as a result of this, because it's going to be very crowded. I know we've got a different era in terms of theatrical release windows. I'm going to try and bring Streamlabs back up. That's all right. It's changed the scene anyway. With the sort of shortened windows, they aren't maybe cannibalising each other as much as they would if it was a longer theatrical release window. But it's going to be interesting to see if they'll maybe pull or delay one of those movies into next year. I don't think they will. If it would be, it would also be Eternals if they were pushing it. But I feel sorry for the people involved in this, that they're continually having to delay this movie for a character that's already dead, that has no real say on the future of the MCU. She's dead. Get the movie out in any way, shape or form. Original release slot, streaming service, I don't care. Just get it out. Move on to the likes of Shang-Chi. I'm disappointed it's getting delayed. I'm looking forward to this, man. He's like a Bruce Lee of the MCU, Stephen. Meets a sort of James Bond of the MCU. He's got links to MI5. A very interesting character. Says it before, if he's going to be anything, I think he will be the natural successor in terms of moral compass role in the Avengers to a Chris Evans, Steve Rogers character. Because he is the sort of man out of time, out of sync with American culture. He has to acquiesce into it. So I think he's going to slide into that sort of Steve Rogers role, but different. Obviously, he's not Captain America.
Shang-Chi,
you know
the one that's got his father's got the checkered past.
Yeah, he's a sort of mobster. Yeah, sort of like criminal mobster, kingpin figure, and he's got the sort of whatever they're called, Stephen. That sort of organisation that we've seen hints at in all the previous triad sort of thing. Yeah. So he distances himself, there you go, that's not the beer, that's just me, from that organisation. He has links with MI5, as I says, and he sort of goes off piste, and that's what creates this character. So I'm excited to see this role. I'm excited to see how it's going to slide into the sort of Marvel legacy movies, the movies we've seen, how they then sort of, I don't know, integrate this criminal organisation in. Can't wait to see it. And
John, I just can't wait to see Phase 4. It's been such a long time coming, you know, and 2020 was the first year in a long time we didn't get an MCU film. So a lot of time to make up, a lot of films to make up as well. But we're going to move on to another sequel, John, and it's on MovieWeb, this report. It's John Wick 4. Begins filming this summer. International settings revealed. Some new details regarding the much anticipated John Wick 4, which will once again star Keanu Reeves, has surfaced. According to a new report, John Wick 4 is set to begin filming in June. It is expected that Chad Stahelski, who directed the first 3 entries in the franchise, will return to the helm. It was recently confirmed that writer Derek Kolstad, who created the series, will not be returning to pen the screenplay this time nor will he be putting pen to paper for the already announced John Wick 5. However, Kolstad does not seem to have any feelings of ill will towards the project. Mike Finch of American Assassins and Predators is said to be the most recent writer to have a crack at the script. John, I've seen American Assassins and I've seen Predators. Both of them are shite. I don't know if it's down to the writing. Well, it is down to the writing because the stories were shite. I don't know how. I'm not comfortable with this. Derek Kolstad is the guy that was part of the sort of winning formula for the first 3 films. And there is a report coming in from NME, John. I'll bring it up, Shane. I'll bring it to us into it, man. There you go. And you can see it there. It is. He's been speaking to Collider, and he sort of
he spoke about the decision. He confirmed he's not going to be involved, and they say it there. My decision. Was it my decision? You think of contractually all of these things. The third one, I shared the credit with a number of people. They didn't have to come back to me, and so they didn't. Steve, I'm not going to go through it all, but I'm disappointed with this news. He has been synonymous with the first two movies, the first three movies, I should say. There has been three, hasn't there?
Yeah.
The second one was the sort of expanding of it. The third one was when they went to Madagascar and stuff like that. Slightly disappointed with that news, and I'm concerned how that's going to impact the integrity of the fourth and fifth movie.
I get and understand that sometimes when a franchise has got so many sequels, sometimes it's not a bad idea to freshen things up.
Yeah.
But you've got to remain consistent as well. That's more important than anything with a franchise, and especially when these are called chapters, so it's a continuation of the story of John Wick.
Yep.
I loved the first one. Amazing film, John. It took me by surprise how good it was. Second one was a bit samey. I felt it was regurgitating what happened in the second one, the first one. Third one was fantastic. It just went back to that sort of winning formula again. But it's going to be very interesting. We're still getting the television series as well, aren't we? The
Continental, yes, with your man who I always forget the name of.
Yeah,
absolutely terrible. Winston.
I
always forget his name.
Yeah,
terrible.
It's
slight speech impediment.
He's English. Yeah,
brilliant guy. I don't know why I forget his name.
Yeah,
but we are getting that. Stephen, they're expanding it out, not expanding. They're expanding it out, and it's going to be interesting to see the continuity. The best example I can give of them,
Ian McShane.
The great Ian McShane. Jesus Christ, he was in Hellboy. He was one of the better things in that horrendous David Harbour Hellboy movie. But the most recent example of the writer or director stepping away and concerns of continuity and where it will go after it would be Deadpool. Deadpool 1, we had, was it Tim Miller or TJ Miller? I can't recall. TJ Miller was involved. He stepped away over issues with Ryan Reynolds clashing over where they were going to take it. He didn't want it to be a bigger version. He wanted it to maintain the size and scale. Ryan Reynolds wanted to make it a little bit bigger and brasher. They separated. We went into that second Deadpool movie. I didn't think it lost anything, Steve, and I thought it was pretty damn good, the Deadpool sequel. It was funny as hell. It had some excellent moments in it. So
that was Tim Miller, John.
Tim Miller. TJ
Miller was starred in the film.
Yeah, he was his friend that went off the rails a bit, wasn't it? He kind of was saying he had a bomb on a train and things like that. He lost the plot and subsequently get fired from the roles he was in. Tim Miller went off and done Dark Fate, and he should be fired for Crimes Against Humanity for giving us that movie because it was utterly shite. But Stephen, that was an example of two movies, two different sort of creators, and it sort of making that jump and still being pretty damn decent. Hopefully it's the same here without your man Kolstad. Hopefully they'll still have the likes of Leach and Chad Stahelski involved. Number of writers, he says it himself, there's been umpteen people involved. It wasn't just him. They've ditched him. Hopefully it'll still be good. It's not an overly complex story, let's be honest. It's just a guy, a hitman, assassin type figure, trying to get one up in all of the other people. Sort of nefarious deals, and it's not the most complicated.
Sometimes you have to keep it fresh then.
Yeah. I think I think Keanu's got a sort of prominent role in mending the script and stuff like that. Much like DiCaprio.
It was great to see Keanu back doing his Bill and Ted stuff, last summer, or the end of last year, I should say.
Tales of a Fireman.
This is where he belongs, doing the John Wicks, doing the Matrix films, those action films. That's where I see him as best. But we'll just have to wait and see how good it will be. But it's good to see that production is beginning shortly as well, because
Steve, it's all about Keanu.
That's
he's still there.
As long as he's in it, that's the most important thing. But we're going to move on, John, to our next topic, and it's all about DC's Shazam, Fury of the Gods, adds Helen Mirren. That's Mirren. Now we say Mullen for some reason in this country, but as the villain. Now, I'll get your thoughts in a moment, John. I'll just read this little bit of what's happening here. The cast for
they played a villain.
David F. Sandberg's highly anticipated sequel to his DC Extended Universe hit is continuing to take shape as Oscar winner Helen Mirren of Hobbs & Shaw. She's done a lot more than Hobbs & Shaw. Has joined the cast of Shazam Fury of the Gods in the role of villain. According to
the Wrap, that horrendous sort of horror movie, wasn't she, with Jason Clarke?
Winchester.
shit.
Yeah. That was the room that the house that kept changing and stuff like that.
It was based on a real story, but just
it was like a puzzle.
Pure fantasy.
Yeah, shit. Shit game. Shit puzzle. Smug Chandler. Miller will star as Hespera.
I like Jason Clarke.
Yeah, so there. A character not originally from the comics, but with a heritage rooted in them, as she is the daughter of Atlas, who was one of the several characters from the publisher to be inspired by the Titan of ancient Greek mythology, with the most iconic iteration of the character hailing from Jack Kirby in 1975.
Jack Kirby's a character in comics he's not been involved in.
Mirren joins the recently cast West Side Story breakout star Rachel Zegler. Although her key role is currently being kept to Thunderbolt adorned chest. What?
There's a Thunderbolt on Shazam's chest, isn't there? So he's been a little bit fancy.
Fucking hell. It was previously reported that screenwriter Henry Gayden has signed on to return to craft a sequel for the comedic superhero effort, with director David F. Sandberg returning alongside producers Peter Safran and cast members Zachary Levi, Jack Dylan Grazer, Marta Milans, Asher Angel, Megan Good, Faith Herman,
it's all the
Adam Brody.
original young cast that are in this sequel.
Probably have to look them up.
So they're going to have to do the It Chapter 2 treatment.
Those names I did read out, I'm not really sure, apart from Zachary Levi and Jack Dylan Grazer. That's the only two that stand out to me.
Well, if it's the same, then they've certainly grown, and they're at the age where they grow remarkably fast, so they're going to have to shrink them like they did with Billy Connolly and people and people like that in the Hobbit films. They're going to have to do that sort of thing and do something with the picture of voices. It's going to, well, they don't, because I mean it could be set 5 years later and it's absolutely fine.
Asher Angel, I don't know what he looks like now. He was the the young one, wasn't he? He was Billy Batson.
Billy Batson, that's the one.
Yeah, that's
there he is there. Let's search up 2020, because let's be honest, 2021 has just started.
He's actually starting to look like Zachary Levi.
There he is. That is not Asher Angel. Is it?
I think it is.
He's absolutely shredded, that little shit.
It's like Eminem.
He is like Eminem. Steve, he's looking okay, let's be honest, but he's looking a bit older than what he did in the original. So they're going to have to do something like that. I'll go back to the actual scene, because I'm pressing different things that are macroed that it just went haywire, and I don't even think that was a word. And so that's what happens when you drink before a show. It's not good. Haywire. I think that's the word I was looking for. Even now, I'm not sure what I was trying to do.
Even the closed captions will not help you, folks.
No, Stephen, I think ahead. 9 times out of 10, my tongue is at least 10 seconds ahead of my brain. So when it stops going and the brain's not caught up, it's dangerous. So, Stephen, I was searching up Atlas as an aside. The Atlas character, everyone's heard of Atlas, haven't they, really? He's a god, a mythological god. Not heard of Atlas's daughter. I searched it up and it just brings up articles connected to Helen Mirren. So, Helen Mirren, we shall redouble our efforts. And apparently no one else has heard of this character, because that is the sort of first link you see. It's Helen Mirren. So, don't know much about the character. I'm slightly concerned about Helen playing a villain in a DC movie. She's a little bit old. I don't know how old she is, but she's old. And she's old, Stephen, let's be honest. I'll search her up just now.
She's probably about the same age as Patrick Stewart.
She's old as hell, man. Patrick Stewart wasn't playing a villain though, Stephen. No. He was playing a guy with dementia in the last role, so that was kind of sort of right for Patrick's age.
Ian McLaughlin now.
He's looked old for like 20-30 years now. So, I mean, he looked old 20 years ago in Lord of the Rings. Guy just looks the same.
I've seen videos from the 1970s, but I think he was on what was that American chat show?
Dick Cavett,
yeah. And he looks like he's in his 50s.
Yeah, he's always
that
old.
was like 50 years ago.
He's always looked old. So Helen has not always looked old, but she's 75. That's old as fuck. Let's be honest, that is old in any part of the world, even in Japan, where they live incredibly long. That is old as fuck. So she is old. Stephen Jack Kirby in 1975. I just read that. There's a link there. Helen Mirren's age, 75. How are they going to do this? How are they going to make a 75-year-old woman intimidating? How are they going to make her a villain?
Mastermind. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they've done it with Kate Blanchett, but she's still fairly young, and she played Hela, and it was an amazing performance. I'm not doing down Helen's acting. We know she's an Academy Award caliber actor, but I'm concerned she's too old. She's very small. How can they make her imposing? I'm really worried. I don't know. She's a god, a daughter of a god, so I'm supposed to come up with something, but I wouldn't have picked this. I mean, it wouldn't have been my casting choice.
Well, John, I did say I would like you in with your thoughts because I knew exactly what your thoughts were, but we're going to move on. We'll just have to see how that pans out. But we're going to move on to
meet my words, Helen.
Yeah, our final article, and it's coming in from Deadline, and it's all about Amazon Prime Video to co-produce first Indian movie Akshay Kumar's starrer Ram Setu. And great picture there, John, on the website. Nice image there.
Yes,
and I'm just going to read a little bit of this article just to sort of build a picture of what's coming up next. But just before I do, Amazon Prime Video have got such a large library of Indian movies now, and yes. I think they have seen.
Stephen, they've got their finger on the pulse, haven't they, with Indian movies, cinema, TV. They're way ahead of Netflix. Netflix have a few, but Amazon Prime are just head and shoulders above the competition over
here. John, they're keeping us in the loop with a lot of films that we can't access. So
they get Master, Stephen. Master.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a huge hit.
But in a first for its Indian operators, Amazon Prime Video will act as co-producer on upcoming Hindi movie Ram Setu, which will be led by superstar Akshay Kumar. The pick is an action-adventure revolving around the mythical bridge that the god Rama is supposed to have built between ancient India and Sri Lanka in order to rescue his wife Sita from the demon god Ravana. Jacqueline Fernandez and Nusrat Baracha, I think that's how you say it, also features in the cast, and Abhishek Sharma is directing, and Chandra Prakash I'm going to try and say this, Devivede will act as creative producer with production companies Cape of Good Films, Abundantia and Entertainment, Leica Productions teaming with Prime on the project. Now, excuse my pronunciation there, I did do my best and it's very late here in the UK as well, but this is exciting, John. It's exciting to see that Amazon are getting their hand in Indian operations now. We're going to see we've already seen some very large scale productions from the films that we've been recommended from our amazing community, but I think this is going to ramp up even more with Amazon obviously Prime backing them now, and being
$1 trillion company, Steve.
Yeah, exactly. It's great news,
Stephen. It is. Look, we've said it before, these streaming services are a sort of, I don't know what we call it, a beacon. I think that's a wrong choice of word really, but they're a sort of source for the rest of the world to tap into different industries, different parts of the world, different film. It's certainly been an absolute godsend for us. We've been able to go in and watch some brilliant Indian movies on there, and I've seen some brilliant foreign language movies from the likes of Denmark and France and all over the world, Stephen. And this is the point I've always made about streaming services. People like to shite on them and say they're destroying film. As we know, the way you're consuming film, it's the end of time. And when it comes to film and theatres and the traditional studio setup, but they also are good for this. They allow huge diverse content.
It does say in this article that the film will have a theatrical release with Cape of Good Films and Abundantia holding those rights, which will be followed by the global streaming bow exclusively on Amazon Prime. So you're getting the best of both worlds there.
And Stephen, it's Akshay Kumar's in this. He's class. I've seen numerous trailers with this guy. I need to watch a movie with him actually. He's just oozes charisma and screen presence. He's a cool guy. We've seen him in umpteen different things. The cop one again with Ajay Devgan and Ranveer Singh, and that one where he was sort of transgender. He was possessed with a sort of transgender ghost. I was killing myself in that trailer. Absolutely
that was bizarre, John. Akshay Kumar actually did say the story of Ram Setu is one of the one that has always intrigued and inspired me. It represents strength, bravery and love, and uniquely Indian values that have formed the moral and social fabric of our great country. Ram Setu is a bridge between generations past, present and future. I look forward to telling the story of a significant part of Indian heritage, especially for the youth, and I'm happy that with Amazon Prime Video the story will cut across geographies and strike a chord with viewers across the world. It certainly will.
It certainly will, Stephen.
It's the right platform for that kind of story as well.
An actual story, Stephen, it's nuts, because I was watching Vikram Vedha, if I can speak, and I can't because I've been drinking, Vikram Vedha, and I also looked at Tamil Nadu on the map. I was looking up Vijay Sethupathi, where he was born, and I went to Google Maps and I seen the bridge, the sort of landmass connecting onto Sri Lanka. I searched it up, So I was reading about Adam's Bridge, or Rama's Bridge, and I looked at it and it's absolutely stunning, the actual story behind it. I can understand why it's got a sort of mythological backstory to it and why they're setting this movie based on that. So I nuts that I was just reading about that like 5 days ago, and now it's actually we're speaking about a movie getting made about it. So purely coincidental, but very, very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing it actually. And
it's good news for us Western audiences as well that we're going to get more on that platform.
And I'm looking forward to the theatres opening up as well. We've had numerous big Indian hits entered into the top 10 of the box office over here. We used to speak about box office.
John will be making it a point of going to go and see more.
Absolutely will, Stephen. That's the point I was about to make. When the theatres open back up, I will absolutely be going to watch big blockbuster indie movies if they make their way into a theatre near us. Just so I can experience it. Stephen, we spoke about it before. I don't want to go on too much, but there's a difference between watching a movie in the house on the TV and being at a theatre. It's just... Can
you imagine watching Bally Bally on the big
absolute screen? Dynamite, man. See that end scene where he shouts Mahendra, throws him a knife, he's sort of flying through the air. Oh man, it'd have been fantastic in the theatres. So that's what I'm hoping for. But in the meantime, I'll happily use Amazon Prime and Netflix and the source of diversity they're giving us. But that's going to round up the show. What is your thoughts on the array of topics we have touched upon on the show tonight? What do you make about Tenet getting a sort of box office, don't know, dead cat bounce, I think they call it. Someone calls it that on another channel. Just a bounce. I don't know what that even means, a dead cat bounce, but someone else used the term, so I'm going to steal it and try and make myself look like a goon like him. What do you make about that sort of bounce in the box office because New York and LA have opened up? Do you think that's a good thing, a bad thing? If you think it's a bad thing, you don't belong in this channel. That's the first thing I'm going to say, because you should love Nolan on here, because we love Nolan, so you should love him. And I know all that's subjective, but it's not that subjective. What do you make about Shang-Chi getting delayed 3 months? John Wick starting shooting this summer, and also Helen Mirren, as Charles would say, Helen Mirren, becoming the villain of Shazam 2. And finally, Akshay Kumar doing a movie about Rama's Bridge, is it? Ram Setu, and it's hitting Amazon Prime. If you've got anything to say about any of the topics we've touched upon, you can comment down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, hit the follow button on Twitch if you want to see more content like this in the future, and that's how you will get it. But until then, guys, done. Bye-bye. Just make sure I said bye-bye. Bye.